Hello again, everybody. This is Mr. Everything, and I'm coming at you with a tutorial about Star Citizen new players beginning first steps, like what you need to do as a player what you should do as a new player in Star Citizen. You've already downloaded your package, you've already downloaded your hangar, and now you're trying to figure out how or what to do in what's available, right? What's available. And I've noticed that there's a few people that are stumbling with that because I've watched a few streams, but that's okay. There's not really any good tutorial or map out there right now until this video. So here we go. I appreciate you coming out and checking this video out, and hopefully you learned something. If you're a long-time player of Star Citizen, this video will probably be beneath you or behind you, like you've already know all this information I'm going to put out. Okay. But for a new player that doesn't know his left foot from his right foot, doesn't know anything about Star Citizen or how to get about the Star Citizen, this is the perfect video for you. All right, so, and it's not going to be long because there's not a whole lot to get you going. Okay, so when you load up the RSI website and you go to your hangar, you're going to have multiple choice of which hangar you want to be in. This hangar is the Revel in York hangar. There are four. There's the Selfland hangar, which is the industrial looking, rough, rustic, it looks like it's a low budget type hangar, right? And then there's the Aero View, which honestly is probably my favorite hangar. And it's kind of like a modern hangar, but not luxurious. It's just modern. And then there's this hangar, the Revel in York hangar, which is, everything is so posh, everything's big, everything's, epic, and it's bright white with wood trim. That's the Revel in York hangar. And then there's the fourth hangar, which is the asteroid hangar, and it's called the VFG hangar, right? So if you have the VFG, you have the asteroid hangar, if you have a blah, blah, blah. But some people, like myself, have all four hangars, and you get to pick and choose which one you want to use. I just pulled out the Revel in York for this demo. Okay, so you assign your hangar on the RSI website. You probably already did that. And then if you haven't, go do it. And then while you're there, you're going to see a list of all your ships. If you only have one ship on the list, no big deal. You have one ship. If you've got 100 ships, okay, they'll all be listed there. You drag and drop them over to your hangar slots. There's going to be the center, the left, the right, the far left, and the far right. Okay, and that's going to allow you to put ships in those slots. Some big ships take up a full slot. Some small ships take up half a slot. So you can have two ships back to back. I think you might be able to get 3 in a row on some of these slots, okay? So, like, let's say you get a Constellation. It takes up a whole slot. If you got a little Aurora and a Hornet, there's your 2 slots. Okay, and you can put them all in the center if you want. It'll make them the easiest to access. If you put them on the far right, if you put a ship in the far right and you put a ship in the far left, the hangar adjusts itself and it knows where you put those ships, and it expands itself to compensate for where those ships are located. So if you want a huge hangar, put a ship in the far right and a far left, and then your hangar will be gigantic. If you want the smallest hangar possible, put all your ships in the center. Okay, so now to move around, you're going to use the standard first-person shooter. Okay, let's back up just a second. Everything that I am going to talk about right here is mouse and keyboard. If you want to expand into a HOTAS or a joystick, great. That's not what this video is for. This video is for the basic getting started. Okay, so you use the AWSD keys just like you normally would in a first-person shooter. Use your mouse to look about, right? AWSD. Now I'm just going to kind of walk, and then you use your control to crouch, control to crouch, and shift to sprint. Okay. Your controls will change once you enter a ship. Okay, I have no ships in my left or far left. I have no ship in my right. I do have a ship in my far right. So you see how big the hangar is, right? Okay. Okay, we're not talking about the hangar. We're talking about you playing in Star Citizen. Okay, so you got your AWSD keys to move around, right? And you got your shift to sprint. Okay, if you hit insert, it'll get you a third person view. Okay, so you can actually walk around, do your thing. If you hit insert again, go back inside. Insert, right? Now you should have some controls. F9 is your mobiGlas, and for those of you that don't know what a mobiGlas is your logbook. Okay, it's basically your personal computer in the game that helps you manage all of your everything. Okay, it's attached to your left wrist as like a watch. Okay, and when you pull it up, it has like, it projects a little holographic image in front of you, which is on your screen, and it shows you like your mission log, how much money you have, all that stuff, right? Okay. Then there's this thing called augmented reality. When you press F10, now the reason why I'm not showing you the mobiGlas is because I loaded an earlier version of Star Citizen where the mobiGlas was not implemented. Okay. So you go to F10 and you get your augmented reality, and what that does is when you point at something that is augmented reality enabled, you'll get like a little menu on your screen telling you like a description of what that item is. Also, if you have your augmented reality up, it's like a little heads up on your glasses or whatever, and it tells you, it might be a contact you're wearing, something like that. So this actually is your eyes. It shows you who you're talking to. Like if you hold it up to someone's, if you point at a character, it'll tell you what their name is. It will maybe tell you if they're wanted or if there is a bounty on their head or something like that. That's all good because your augmented reality is actually Wi-Fi. It's connected to the local network. And that's why, like when you walk into a shop, in the bottom right hand corner, it'll say you've connected to the, Big Guns shop, or you've connected to Casaba Outlets, or you've connected to whatever, right? And it'll tell you, so that when you go over to their product, you'll see the price of the product, you'll see like all that good stuff. All right, so that's enough about augmented reality. That's F10. You have a chat, F12. F12 brings up a chat. You can press enter, and then you can start typing, and then you can press enter. Duh, right? Okay, that's chat. If you press Alt space, that'll give you a mouse pointer. Alt space gives you a mouse pointer. So if you needed to expand any of these menus, you can. If you need to, I don't know if you can move this around. I don't think you can. Not yet, anyway. And if you want to know like what some of the emotes are, there they are. Okay. And this would be like private chats, but there's no private chatting yet. That's F12. F11 brings up your contacts, and that is the F keys. Now, I still have a mouse pointer, so we're going to go Alt space, get rid of that, and there we go. And so far, so good, right? All right. So now the most important button you're going to need to know is your interact button. Your interact button default is the F key, F. Okay, so if you are in a hangar or anything and you walk up to something and you notice the use icon, you have to be pointing fairly close to what it is. I mean, like it doesn't count like this, but when I start to turn, it doesn't have to be exact, but it has to be pretty close to what you want to use. I'm sure this is all, remember, pre-alpha. or it's alpha actually. So you're going to, that might change in the future, but right now it's the use button. And F is the use button. So when you press F, you go into your use animation, and boom. All right, and now you're in passengers. And if you hit F, in this case, it lets you out. In some cases, you're going to have to press Control F to get out. If you're locked in, like in a cockpit or something like that, you have to press Control F to get out. You walk up to the holo table, it says use, you press F. It brings up the holo table. And this is all still a work in progress. Everything's going to change. Notice I got a mouse pointer now, and now I can move my menu around. My thrusters, I'm dragging and dropping here. Shields, power, ammo, weapons, ships. I could take a ship like a Hornet, put it in there. Well, whatever ships you own, actually. And then you can move that around and look at all the attachment points. And then if you want to change out your weapons, you could take this, drag and drop, put it on there, boom, it's on there. And then you can take weapons and you can attach those, boom. Okay? Now, we're not going to go into the details of which weapons can go on which points and stuff like that. That's a topic of a future video, but I just wanted you to be able to understand that F is use, and you're moving around just like a standard first-person shooter. Okay. All right, now if you want to change your commands, you can. But there's a downside to doing that, is every time there's a major patch, and there's a lot of them, your commands get set back to default. And then you got to go in and rechange them. Yes, you can take the user config file or the user file and you can save it somewhere else. And then every time there's a patch, you can copy that into that folder where it belongs. And that way you don't have to remap everything all the time. But there's a downside to that. Sometimes the controls change. So when you remap, you're causing yourself bugs because there are new controls. Like, as an example, just recently there was a change for using a ship. Like when you run up to a ship and you get into the ship, it's F because that's use, right? And then get out was F because that was how you F in, F out, right? Well, now it's not like that. It's F in and Control F out. So by copying over your controls, you're missing out on the whole Control F, get out. And you probably never wanted F to be it in the first place, or something like that. So while alpha is going on and there's no real persistent controls yet, and that's going to those controls could possibly change, I personally recommend don't worry about it. Just play with the defaults until such time as you want to make your own controls, or if you don't mind adjusting them every time there's a patch, that's okay too. All right, so okay, so we got the we got the F in and F out. Now, okay, now if you're in just the hangar, right, you can press escape. It brings up your menu, right, and in that menu you got options. So we're going to go to options. And right here, you got your game settings, you got your graphics, you got your audio, you know, and you've got your control options. Now, in the control options, you got your inversion settings. You also have your sensitivity settings, right? Here we go. Key binding. Okay, now just take a gander at this. Sometimes I mean, when you get this in the game, this is what you want to take a look at. Now, notice this says flight. This is not your key bindings when you're walking around. That's on foot. Notice how they changed? Okay, so you have two sets of keys. You have when you're walking around doing your FPS thing, and then there's when you're in the ship. So, then there's aim down sights, fire, camera change. We knew that, right? Activate chat. And then you notice F was interact, so that's using stuff. And then, like, you can hold your breath. When it is colored like that, it usually means there's a modifier. So, like, Alt, you got to hold it down press space, you get the cursor. If I didn't hold Alt, space would have caused me to jump because that's the modifier. And we already did the options. That was the key bindings, control options, audio, graphics, game settings, right? But in this option, you got electronic access. Electronic access is the in-game version of an arcade game. Okay, so you click electronic access, and this is what a lot of people have access to now. The PTU is, or I should say, the microverse or whatever it's called, is slowly getting phased in, and but right now, for most people, this is the only way you can actually enter a match. So you go to Arena Commander. This would be your virtual reality arcade simulator, right? And then you got basic flight training. You take basic flight training, it'll walk you through all the steps of how to fly your craft, how to take off, how to land, how to follow someone, how to shoot a missile. That's all in basic flight training. And then Spectrum Match is your multiplayer match, so you can play with or against other players. And Drone Sim is your single player experience where you can play any of the maps solo. Okay, so that's how you get into those maps. Right now, as you see, Star Marine is grayed out, only Arena Commander is available. When you get into the microverse, you will be able to do first-person combat. It's just not in the virtual version. It would be like in a realistic version, except don't worry about your death because it's still alpha and everything's going to get wiped anyway. Every bit of money you make, every bit of everything's going to get wiped when they transition to the actual game. All right, now I hope I helped you out a little bit. I know this is like super basic. There is an elevator here located in your hangar. There's always an elevator. Just got to find it. And this elevator will take you to ArcCore. I'm going to use it. All right, and then I'm going to use the mouse pointer to select ArcCore, and then I'm going to launch. And it should take me to the multiplayer city of ArcCore, Area 18. You just won't be able to buy and sell anything just yet, but that's where you would do it. And once you spawn into ArcCore, you just walk around, do your thing, do your shopping. Some doors will open automatically. Some you'll have to click use to open. Some vehicles will be around. There's medical units. Basically, this is your opportunity to explore Area 18. Someone's trying to be silly and drive their buggy into back into customs. And that's what you get in multiplayer experiences that don't have any consequences. All right, well, thanks for coming out and checking out this video, and you have a good one.